Hi, my name is Samantha Garcia, and I'm a wealth advisor and certified financial planner at Halbert Hargrove. One of the questions we've been getting is, should I invest my cash now to take advantage of markets? That's a great question, and one that has many answers. The first thing we really need to look at is, do you have an emergency savings fund? Do you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in cash that you can access in case of an emergency, whether that's a layoff, a healthcare emergency, or even a home repair that you weren't anticipating? If you have the cash, then great, we can move on to the next criteria. If not, you should really preserve your cash and continue adding to your nest egg in order to meet the 3 to 6 month criteria. If you've already done that, now the next question we want to ask is, what does your employment stability look like? The world is crazy right now. Do you think you might end up being laid off or furloughed or having work hours reduced in the next couple weeks or couple months? If your employment stability is uncertain, you should keep your cash on hand. When things stabilize, you can always invest it later. The next part's broken up into our 3 life phases. The first one's accumulators. So, you have more than 10 years till retirement. The first thing you may want to consider is increasing your 401k allocation, if you have access to one. You can always increase your contribution and use the cash you have on hand to supplement your net income. If you don't have access to a 401k, or you've already maxed it out for the year, you may want to consider contributing to an IRA. You can still make a 2019 contribution thanks to the tax extension, or you can make a 2019 and 2020 contribution. 2 different ways to save. Now, if your funds aren't for retirement, you really need to look at what the time horizon is. Say you have $100,000 that's you have saved for a down payment on a house. What's the time horizon there? Is it 12 to 24 months? If so, you should probably keep those funds in savings. You don't want to risk them in the market because they may not be worth the $100,000 you have now. Times are uncertain, so keep any short-term cash needs in cash. You can look at online savings accounts or high-yield savings. Make sure they're FDIC insured to protect yourself. For anybody in transition, which is the first 5 years before and 5 years into retirement, this is a critical time of your life. You really should ask your advisor for advice. Now, if you don't have an advisor, now's probably a good time to look for one. They can help guide your specific situation and give you the best advice. Now, if you're not quite retired, but you think you might be in the next 5 years, you should really look at what your job situation looks like. Do you think you might be laid off or asked to retire early, or maybe offered a severance package, especially if your employer knows you're already looking at retirement in the next few years? If that's the case, you may want to keep your cash on hand. If not, and you have enough cash for 3 to 6 months, even maybe a year of savings, you may want to invest it. The one thing I would say is you may want to invest it in chunks. Maybe invest 1 chunk today, 1 chunk next month, and maybe the last chunk in the following month. You really want to break it up. It's probably a better option because markets are so uncertain right now. Now, if you're into retirement and you've started drawing on your funds, you may want to use that cash savings instead of drawing from your portfolio. It will likely make a bigger impact on your portfolio than adding the cash now. Now, for those of you in the last phase, or decumulation as we like to call it, if you're already taking distributions from your accounts, just like I said before, you probably want to use your cash savings and minimize or stop your investment withdrawals now. That will likely have more impact on your overall portfolio than continuing to draw and just adding money in. That will give your investment accounts a little bit of time to recover before you start to draw on them fully. If you have any other questions or you'd like to reach out to us, feel free. We're here and we're happy to help. Thank you.